award?
This is like these awards. This is like these awards. What is it called? Like Rocco Award and this
Oh, the
award and
Rocco
all this sort of shit.
Tech. We're 10-time winners. What do you mean? Don't talk about Rocco.
Yeah, but like, what is this? It's like you pay them, you get an award.
Yeah.
It's just it is
Pay
what
to
it
play.
is. It's like anything else. It's not even pay to play. You need to. People need a place to go. I have a different attitude. I've had this argument with Alan. Some of these organizations are good because you need a place to go. You need a place to communicate. I thought Alan was going to build at a TADSummit. We're not that. We're more for programmable telecom and geeks and developers. He's got guys with no teeth running around. He's got all these guys, these developer guys. And the truth is, the industry kind of needs a place to go. But really, I mean, our awards are who's the sexiest guy in the industry.
But the industry does come together, right? So think about an example where I would say, so like we all fight each other and I'm on here talking shit about them and they'll talk shit about me and this is all good. But I think what's nice about the industry to also stay on a happy note on this is like, if you think about all the founders, especially the founder-led companies or founder like still involved companies in this space, we all know each other. We all have each other on text. And I will tell you one thing, if there's like a company that like pops up and frauds one of us and like skims a couple $100K or a couple million or whatever,
right away,
we all come together and fight it.
No,
we don't need an organization
but
that
you just basically explain to everybody
to do this.
It's over. You're the only guy that comes out and tells the truth. Nobody else tells the truth.
But they can't. But this is also okay. But in fairness, that's also very hard for them to do. Because if you're a public company, what are you going to say? My industry is over, and my stock goes down. Like that's kind of not impossible. And then if you still have the ambition to go public one day, you have exactly the same problem. So all these people have like all the same problems that they can't be truthful. It's not that I think they fundamentally disagree with me about where the industry is going.
I think they fundamentally are dumb as rocks. I don't think anybody's as smart
as
you.
They're not dumb.
I've met all these guys say dumb as rocks.
They're not dumb.
They don't see tomorrow. I don't think they're as smart as you think they are.
Robert, Christian,
they weren't as smart.
Silvio.
Oh, Robert, those guys are really smart. Look, Jeff Lawson's the smartest guy ever. You know why? Because he pulled off a $60 billion Ponzi scheme. Nobody's smarter than Jeff Lawson. Elon Musk paid $40 billion for Twitter. They say now it's worth 20. Most powerful company, for my money, anywhere. X. I mean, it's the last platform for free speech, right? You agree? You agree?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
100%.
This guy wiped out $60 billion of people's money, and he's walking around like he didn't rob anybody. It was an inside job on Wall Street. You know what $60 billion is?
No, but hold on.
He knew exactly.
But I don't think
exactly what they had.
But
they
that's
never
not,
said they were a telco. They're nothing but a telco.
But that's not. But I don't think I don't think they robbed anybody. I think what they did is Jeff fundamentally believes. I mean, first of all, everybody's a shrewd businessman or businesswoman,
I've
right?
got guys on the inside. Jeff was making money off spam. Jeff was doing everything he could to keep running that stuff.
And
so for me, I got no respect. I got no respect. No principles.
The principles of like, I love it. Like when you guys wrote like about like poor grandma, like the principles of allowing that on your platform is wrong. I mean, I can honestly say
not
that
allowing it, encouraging it. It's one thing to not allow it through subs, to not be able to catch it. I used to argue all the time they can't stop it, but it was encouraging, and it's wrong, and it's not going along with any potential solutions. I mean, this whole campaign registry, the reason why it pissed me off is because they all went along with it. They told the FCC, "Oh, we're going to start this thing to stop spam." No, they're all making billions of dollars off scamming. It's never going to end.
But it's a hard problem. But it's a hard problem for them to solve, because if you think about I mean, I'll tell you my side of the story about where it's really hard and like a tough founder decision is we stopped automatic onboarding in the United States many years ago. Why did we do that? Because it essentially meant that we would allow fraud, because it's like that's what happens if you allow people to use your API and like so all this sort of stuff. That obviously significantly hurt my business, because I could have been a much larger business if I did it. So I don't disagree with you, because I would just say, like, I've experienced it myself, how tough it is to build a business when your competitor is onboarding customers in the tens and hundreds of thousands. And by that definition, and customers would hate us because they would say, oh, but Bert, you're so difficult to work with because we need pre-approval and we need to send all these documents and we need to do all these sort of things. So it's like really hard, but I think Ponzi scheme is too far. It's like Jeff is an amazing.
He didn't create the Ponzi scheme. The Ponzi scheme was created by Wall Street and Jim Cramer, and having Middle America buy this thing, and having pension funds buying it, and the stock going from $450 a share down to zero. This thing was selling like crazy on Wall Street. Not on the technology side, but they never said they were a CPaaS. They said they were a SaaS company. Oh, and the margins are going to come the minute we're going to grow, and then we're going to.
That was obviously a lie.
And the margin is a lie.
They knew for years.
Listen, you're going
to
to
see
for years
that the carriers were going to start charging.
You're going to see in a couple of years. Yeah. People have run away. They've covered it up. God bless them. But at the end of the day, it's one of the most amazing genius. Him and Jim Cramer. Jim Cramer's a big name.
I need you to be the voice of reason here.
Well,
I need you to be the voice of reason.
Look,
no, go on. Johnny, you're speaking too much. They spent 1.6 billion becoming an aggregator. Okay, that was 2021. So they shifted in 2021 in terms of what their business was. Before then, they were more SaaS-esque, and they kept their arm's length from all these dirty, difficult to deal with carriers. Synthetic identity is something that the whole industry should be managing, but is not. But there's an exception on there. So I think that's important. And I'm just going to, because he's been quiet for a second, you were about to mention some names of aggregators that you think TinTech would be attractive to.
I think if you're not running any type, like I would say this. If you did not build any type of mobile core yourself, gotcha. So you're either licensing it from like still Ericsson or like any provider, then I think TinTech is an amazing buy because it gets you there. Gotcha. I think in terms of carrier connections, they might have a few that are really, really interesting and unique, just like everybody does. But I don't know if that's very, very, very valuable. Yeah, I think if you're us,
but what about the patents? He's got 40 patents. You haven't seen them?
Fuck patents, dude.
I'm telling you,
he just patented your shirt.
Patent that gets shit done. That's how you don't need patents.
Yeah,
patents are for the weak. This is such an American I'll tell you a funny story, and I'll say this too. So I never had any patent issues for like a long time. I never filed any patents, and I always had the same view on this. This is all bullshit. Like this is against innovation. It's the opposite of what I believe in. I believe in transparency, freedom of markets, and if you have invested billions of dollars to create something, you should get some protection in order to make that money back and not give it away for free. I believe in that. In technology, you are never spending billions of dollars. You're spending very little money to create something. And for that reason, you should not be held accountable. That's also why they don't hold up in court, right? That's why you don't see any lawsuits in our space, because they don't actually, and if you then want to get into it, then you go to Google, who bought Motorola, who owns every single patent there is in our space. So I think that the patents are just not the way to get there. But I got sued once for a patent in a different, not in telco. And I remember speaking to my patent lawyer, and we hired I'm not American, so I didn't know how this all works. So I got told for the first time how patent litigation works. And I realized how fucked up it is, because basically the one suing spends less money than the one defending, which is completely unfair. It's and it's a big difference, about a third more, 3x more. So you spend $1 million, cost the defendant $3 million. So it's like really unfair. And I remember sitting in this call with like my lawyers and everybody else. I was just like, I'm going to make this really, really simple. Do you know the game of chicken? I want you to play game of chicken, and I'm going to get on the top of the fucking car and say, let's fucking go. And I do not care how much it costs, but there is no way. And because this whole game is about they sue you, then they try to settle with you, then they do this. You should just not allow this shit.
No.
You should be very simple.
No. Thorsten has patents, so he can paper his wall with it. And then once he gets buried with TinTech in the TinTech tomb in 2,000 years, he comes back as the Pharaoh Thorson that invented SMS. He invented CPAS. That's what it is for him. He can't sue. He don't even know. He can't even go look at his patents. I'm going to have Mark Hay go look at his patents. I think Mark put out a design the other day. I think Thorson tried to patent that too. It's the worthless patents at the end of the day. It's just for him so he can go to Dartmouth University and he can go in there and be the scholar and tell these young kids how he's so smart. First of all, no better talent has come out of anywhere than TINTech. I mean, look at the amount of talent that's come out of that place. So really, it's been TINTech University. Because if you just kept his talent and had a half a brain, all he had to do was buy my company, and there'd be 3 hubs in the USA. But he couldn't buy my company.
People can't be.
One more thing I got to tell you, Mr. Viz, because I don't know when you're going to come back.
But he can't be. But he can't be good at everything. Because
I'm going to tell you one thing. I got to say one thing to you because you're my therapist right now. So Thorsten Trapp could have bought my company. I had auto renew agreements with Cineverse and SAP for 14 years. That's all I won. All I won is a failure to deals to. It was really simple. They couldn't beat me. The minute I was going to trial, they were screwed. They're like, did you auto renew these for the last 14 years? Yep. Okay. All I needed was a carrier. He basically took those agreements that I had, raised money from Scipio partners in order to give him more equity and management control of the company. He knew he was going to lose the minute he didn't buy my company. He bought the agreements. And Cineverse was like, sure, we'll transfer him. And then I remember sitting there with John Wake from Cineverse. We're going to torch this guy. I'm like, oh, jeez. And here we go. And we fought, but we were winning in court. But he had no intention because all he cared about, like I said, is becoming a pharaoh. He just wants to be the pharaoh.
Let's put that one to bed.
Anyhow, I had to go with Robert on that. Robert, listen, one more thing I got to tell you, Robert, because I'm going to give you a little advice on Coming to America because I watch your stuff.
We need
to get it. What?
I definitely want to replay the movie, please.
Okay.
I mean, that's not politically correct. I'll be anti-PC, but I'd say really play the movie.
We need to get you
Coming to America.
We need to get you on a channel with Truth and Telecoms. We need to get a brand. Look, we got 19,000 subscribers, which is a lot in telecom. Nobody cares about what the hell we're talking about, except, whoever cares, right? But I think if you're going to come to the U.S., we got to be able to utilize our channel because we had a lot of Wall Street people looking. We have to get you on there because there's 2 identities. There's Bird, and then there's Robert Viz. I like what Robert Viz has to say, and there's going to be a lot of people in this country, a lot more than your country, that are going to like your style. So you need to.
My country doesn't like me.
No, they don't like you.
Definitely doesn't like me.
Well, you're successful. How can they like you? You're not supposed to be successful. What do you mean? You're an American at the core, kid.
But don't forget, we have a lot of potential. But like we have a third of our revenues from the U.S. So like we're a very funny company. Most companies lean towards like 70%. A third of our revenue is U.S., third of it is Europe, third is APAC. So we're pretty global. So problem with the U.S. is time zone a lot in a lot of situations.
But the U.S. is going to be wide open to you. You're going to eat the U.S.'s lunch. Look, you got Zillow, right? Don't know how big
I used to live in San Francisco. I lived in New York.
No, San Francisco is not America. Okay, you want to come to America? I'll take you to America. San Francisco's in its own little island, right? It's a different world out there. But Zillow is an important customer.
I've been to Europe, Jersey. I've walked.
Not Queens. No. Come to West Virginia. Come to West Virginia. Come to parts of Texas, and you're going to see America. That's America.
I can never do well.
They'll love you there. They'll love you there because you're free speech, right?
Yeah. But anyway,
of course, it's
not free speech. But
let's start wrapping it up, okay? Because we could go on.
No, there's nothing to wrap up. I told you, you hush down there. We got Viz on the line here, and this ends when the Viz says it ends.
Okay.
This is when I need like some like person whispering in like your ear saying like, oh no, you can't have him stay on anymore. It's like over, right? Like the president.
No,
we're saying, oh, you only have 5 more minutes.
Look, this is about fun. This is about people having hope. This is about investors having hope. You gave the industry some really good advice over here. They need to go consolidate. They need to go meet at MEP and all come together and make Dario Betti the CEO with Gertzman. And they need to go figure out where they're going to go because Wall Street's done. They're not giving them any more money. So, look, and I'm just pissed off for all the grandmas that have been robbed.
Twilio, Cinch, and Infobip merged.
Twilio buys Cinch, they got a great deal. Infobip, they tried to give the company to Twilio. So One Equity Partners went to Twilio and tried to give him the company and said, give us whatever you want. And Twilio said no. That's when Jeff was still there. Because I know people everywhere. I'm connected to everybody. You know the top 5 oligarchs in Europe because you guys created it. But there's a lot of other people in this industry, right? You guys are the messaging oligarchs. I know them all.
Europe has oligarchs?
Yeah, you have SMS
Europe
oligarchs. You, the Infobip guys. It's funny, when we went to go sell the company, Thorsten said, Kalera's not on that list because they're a scam and they're too stupid. And Infobip scares me. I don't want to go there. That's literally the only two companies he would not sell to. He had it on the list. I will not be sold to Kalera because they're too stupid and they're criminals. And he was right. And then Infobip, he was just terrified of Silvio. I don't know what Silvio did to him. He might have bumped into him in the bathroom or something somewhere.
They're just
he's
terrified of him. They're just really tall. I think they're just really tall. I think that's it.
Look, I love the Croatian soccer team. I love watching soccer. I love watching the Netherlands. Although I'm not.
They do a lot of good
recently.
They do a lot of good for the country. I mean, I think not to speak.
I grew up
like
with Croatians. I love Croatians. You know what? Croatians an amazing country. I mean, look at the population. How good their soccer team does. So I don't see what everybody else sees. And look, if you want to go deal in different countries, you got to pay the king's daughter. You don't like it? That's just the way it is. Just because we live in Europe and we live in the U.S., we don't do these type of things. Not the way it works. Unless you're Ericsson, they don't care. They can make those deals all over the place, but they end up paying fines. But look, I think this was a great conversation with you. I'll keep going for days with you because it's been boring lately, and everything's boring. And we're going to be moving into a different sector myself, more at the core network side. Because this is over, but we need to root for you. We need to help you. Look, the Zillow. I want to talk about Zillow. Zillow is one of the most important companies in America that nobody talks about. How did you nail them?
So we actually have so what people don't like. One of the reasons why we loved SparkPost so much when we acquired them was what people don't realize about SparkPost is that SparkPost is the largest email sender in the world. So it does about 40% of all global B2B email. Yeah. So SendGrid and Mailgun were actually with the parent company Mailgun, which I forgot what they're called, but they were quite big as well, and they have a lot of developers, and they have a lot of revenue. But if the metric was amount of emails sent on a yearly basis, we'd whoop the shit out of both of them all day, every day. So if you think about the industry that we come from like a wholesale side, basically being the platform that enabled Twilio and back then Nexmo and a bunch of all these other folks that, used our platform to basically go global, that in its core, these identities were actually very similar. Because Spark was basically a wholesale email provider and we were a wholesale telecom provider. So that's why we love them so much. And SparkPost is actually the backbone to almost every company that you know. So if you want to talk about brands in the United States, we have most of the entire Fortune 500 already as a customer.
So why are we talking more about this in the market for your IPO whenever you're ready?
We've only just started. We only launched the platform. We only launched the CRM platform in February. It's now August.
Pretty exciting.
We gotta, it's hockey stick growth. I mean, we're doing really well, but it's a new business, right? Like it's a fundamentally new to our core business before. It's built on top, but like it's fundamentally different to be in the application side than to be in any type of wholesale side. So it's much more about what you do with the messaging, and we're making more of our customers aware of the magic of our platform. And there's Zillow.
And why is Salesforce? Why is Salesforce peaked up at you? Why are they interested? I know Gene, but Gene doesn't pay attention.
But I think Salesforce. But I how I look at the industry is like people want to define everybody into boxes.
Yep.
So you're this, you're that. You do this, you do that. Like, let's be really realistic. Even if I built the most amazing technology in the world, the biggest platform in the world, all this sort of stuff, and we're better than anybody else. Imagine we're 100x better than anybody else. The interesting thing about the enterprise is these things don't matter as much as people think.
Yes.
So the way that I think about like the space and how it's going to evolve, especially on the application side, is that you're basically going to bolt on to different things. So yes, could people use us as our standalone CRM? Yes. And will some companies do that? Probably. Are we competing with Salesforce? No, I'm not like in a deal with Salesforce for, $30 million to rip and replace everything. I also don't have the ISV network and the developer network and all that sort of stuff. Where I think the industry will much more go is that I think we have built what you would call a new age CRM with different technologies. We had and I think what you're more going to see is that people are going to augment us together with existing CRMs, and you'll keep some of your core there and you'll keep some of your core with us. I think we're much more a danger to general B2B SaaS companies because you won't need them anymore. So you won't, now you buy customer service from Zendesk, and then you buy your chatbot from this, and you buy your AI from that, and you buy your loyalty program from another provider, and you buy your integrations from another provider. I think lots of those companies have we're competing much more in that space because that we consolidated them all into a single platform. So our customers get, they get the CRM, they get CDP, they get marketing automation, they get chatbots, they get customer service, they get AI, they get so many different, get workflow automation, they get so many different connectors into third-party platforms, data ingestion bi-directional. So they get so many different things that I think we compete much more there. And then I think there will be core players that we work really well with. We work really well with Oracle. We work really well with Cisco. We work really well with Salesforce. But that's more how I think about the business than us right now. You talked to me 10 years ago, I'd be like, I'm going to kill them all. Because that was much more the way that I thought about this. But like right now,
You've
I
evolved.
think if you build partners together, I think you can be much
Is your
stronger.
goal either going public or being acquired by one of these big players, or you don't really care? You're just focused on building.
I don't really care. I think I mean, out of those three, I think the option of being acquired is very small because then we would have already sold. I think the option of IPOing is relatively large just because at some point I think the highest grail as a company is to become a public company. I think the benefit that we have is that we're still
make sure Goldman underwrites you. You can't lose. That's another conversation.
I like all of them. They're all JP.
It's not about who you like. It's about the mortgage pretty big. Yeah, no question about it. But Goldman is just, they're really good in the way they sell internally. And you're just you're golden with them. I got friends at Goldman, so I lean towards them.
I'm a Goldman fan, but I'm also a Morgan Stanley fan. Any person that wants to be an Uber driver for a year just to work to get the deal for Morgan Stanley to take Uber public. Now that's hustle. That's hustle. You cannot. That's hustle beyond hustle.
Are you targeting 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? I got to answer these questions, otherwise I'd be a bitch.
I know you sound like a Bloomberg journalist. There's no target. I think the way that I think about this, and look, again, we're very fortunate. We still control the company. So we get to make these decisions ourselves, which is great. But I think, we're focused on long-term building for customers. And we believe that this industry might shift a couple times. And I think in order to go public, in order for Bird to go public, let me speak for myself. I could not do what I don't judge what other people did, but I could not do what some of the other people did. For me, it's fundamentally important that we have built something that has long-lasting value for customers so that our IPO road is super chill. When all these companies don't have a chill IPO road, it's because they were all too focused on the money. And then they realized that 2-3 years down the line, they might have not built the right product. I think if you're much more focused on customers long-term, you have built something sustainable that is growing sustainable, that is good. I think you have something very valuable that you can do. And, we have all the metrics. We're profitable. We're growing. So we don't worry too much there, but we still have to prove out
you're profitable? You're not supposed to be profitable.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
We do higher EBIT margins than I think anybody in this industry has ever seen.
Wow. A lot of guys in the industry say that. It's funny how many people poke at you guys behind your backs, but that's okay. Keep it up. You know who
we have more. About. We have cash in the bank. We generate.
Is it a non-GAAP profitable like Tulio? Non-GAAP?
No, we paid taxes last year.
That was a joke. Non-GAAP. Non-GAAP profitable. Non-GAAP profitability.
We actually paid taxes. So that's on a GAAP basis.
But you're a company out of Netherlands. Of course, you pay taxes when you get up and breathe in the morning. Get out of there, and then let's do a bird podcast where it's just about Robert Viz and his views of the world. You got to start branding yourself and being edgy. Edgy works here in the U.S., kid. Don't work in Europe. They don't like guys like you. We love guys like you.
Now I have to be fearful to get arrested in Europe. So I might have to get out of here.
You can't even get you can go rob money out of the store now and can't get arrested here. So I mean, you can rob billions of dollars and you can't get arrested here.
I mean, in fairness, though, the Americans arrest people overseas. It's just not the Americans that they arrest. That's the real truth, right? Because Americans, I mean, Kim.com, Snowden, like there's a couple of people out there that like the Americans like chasing people outside of the country. But I do agree with you.
Those
Americans
guys
inside of America don't get chased.
Listen, those guys go a different level of far. You know, it's kind of like, you know, when Google can make an assassination attempt just to disappear on search, you know, certain places you just don't go. But I'll talk forever, Robert. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on the show. And we want to do something with you, you know, offline or something with your branding. Just Robert Viz. Robert Viz and his views, because I watch your posts on Twitter. I'm like, nobody's even watching. It's annoying. They should be listening to you. Your company is important. No, it's not okay. It's not okay if you want to go public in the U.S. and you want to build a brand. It's going to be a lot based on you because I would bet on you. I don't care what you're selling. You could be telling me, Johnny, I got these shoelaces. I'm like, all right, I trust you because you tell the truth. And you know what, Robert Viz? Nobody tells the truth in this industry. I've been around. And when I meet somebody who tells the truth, good, bad, or indifferent, it's priceless. And America will embrace you. So that's the last time.
Hey, I love you guys. Hey, I love you guys. It's like you see me on any other podcast or anywhere else. Like, you know,
nope,
I deny all this.
You come here because we tell the truth. We tell the truth.
I deny all that.
One more favor.
Stuff, but you guys make me laugh so much. Like I literally rolled on the floor laughing, literally falling backwards yesterday. And I was like, this is just so funny.
But you do know that I wrote that for you.
Of course, you don't think I realized I got catfished? Of course I did. I've been on Tinder. I know how these things work. But
okay, one more favor before we go. Hey, can you join MEF and make me your representative? They won't let me in. Think about it. You don't have to go now because Gershman's got to let me in. I tried. Did a whole podcast telling how much I love him.
I think if I would try to access them now, they know my stance for so many years that I think they would not let me in anymore either.
Robert Gershman is the chairman. Robert makes the decisions.
Yeah, Robert's also the one that writes weird posts about us. So, like, I don't think Robert's the bar.
Yeah, he just wants you to shut up so he can sell more stock. He's actually a good guy. He's already cashed out. I know. God bless him.
I love that Robert and Christian. I mean, this is not for public, but like, I love Robert and Christian. Like Robert and Christian. I know Robert and Christian when I was running Zapay, which is my company before this. And in all fairness to them, they are true hustlers. They started Cinch back then. I think they just started. I mean, they were a month in. They were flying around the world together. They went to go see every customer, tried to get them on board. So, you know, they are the original hustlers from M-Blocks that moved and built Cinch. All respect to them.
I'm glad they cashed out. Silvio's got to cash out. Thorsten, I don't know what to do. Me and him are going to start fighting pretty badly. Sit back. It's going to be a lot of fun. Watch the show.
I like Thorsten too. You like him too. I know you like him too.
Honestly, no. There's a difference.
But you like him too.
It's not about liking him. I understand him. I respect his toughness. Scipio Partners, the venture group behind him, literally had me working with them to remove Thorsten, made a deal with me where I was getting 20% of all the stock on the GMS deal around Thorsten just to sell the company and then drop dime on me. So at least Thorsten stabs you in the chest, whereas Scipio Partners are just maniacal. But no, I don't like.
Who even knows who these people are?
Scipio Partners are a fund out of Germany. They're the largest shareholder, and they run the board for Wire, which is a competitor for Telegram. They own a few other venture groups out of Germany, and you're going to be hearing their name. We're going to have some fun this year. So look, anything you need to market, anything you need to get out to the US, like I said, we have the capacity to get up to tens and tens of thousands of people for you. And Truth in Telecoms, my show is your show.
Okay, now I'm going to end because otherwise you're going to trick me into saying some bad shit at some point. I think
No.
I tried to behave. I tried to behave for as long as possible. My entire team is worried.
All you got to do is whisper the bad shit to me, and I'll say it.
Yeah, but I'm not that type of person. The other thing, what's the other?
You're not.
The other reason why. All right.
Anyway, this has been
Alan,
great.
Johnny,
Thank you so much.
This was so fun.
Hang on for a minute.
And good luck.
Hang on for a minute.